everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Sunday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. And today I'm going to be talking to you about, is autism overdiagnosed, or does everybody have autism? This topic was brought up on my friend's channel, my friend Emmie, aka PDX Paranormal, and one of her panelists by the name of Josh was talking about once Emmie had mentioned about someone else she was talking about having Asperger's, he brought about people with autism being overdiagnosed. As an autistic woman, I thought, you know what, this would be a great topic to turn into a video and give my own autistic spin and perspective on the topic, and saying about everyone being on the spectrum, which isn't actually accurate. So let me explain from an autistic person's point of view that saying that everybody's on the spectrum or that everybody is autism overdiagnosed, autism is not being overdiagnosed, because autism is something you have to be screened for, you have to be assessed for, you have to be tested for, you have to be assessed over a long period of time. I was assessed over the period of 2.5 years, and it was absolute overwhelming, sensory overwhelming, anxiety provoking, emotional overwhelming, a bit depression overwhelming. You know, I had to go through all these different questions that they were asking me, all through my medical history, all through my childhood history, my adolescent history, my adulthood history. You know, you can't just say that autism is overdiagnosed, because it's not. Number two, people's traits and behaviours are now being better recognised, because there's better clinicians and better training picking up autism within girls, females, males and boys. The panelist then also said that we need to stop using it as a way to be excused for things. Yes, I agree with you on this perspective of things, but autism is not used to get away with things. Autism is a way of life. It's a way of communication. It's a difference. It's the way that we communicate, the way we say things. It's the way that we may look or present ourselves. But a lot of us do not misuse our autism. Again, that is a very ableist attitude to be having, and to be saying things like that can be detrimental if you don't know what you're saying. So what is autism? Autism is a neurodevelopmental condition. It's to do with how our brain is wired and how we see the world and interact with people around us. Autism has many traits, levels and behaviours. Autism is something that you have to get an assessment for. And the people that say to me or to other people, oh, autism, everybody's on the spectrum, Gemma. Oh, everybody has a touch of autism. No, they don't. That's the thing. It undermines our struggles and our fight every day just to be able to survive in a world that doesn't want us. So that's kind of my thoughts on it a little bit. So I'm going to tell you about the difference between the UK and the US statistics on autism. So here in the UK, autism is in 1 in every 100 people. So that makes it around 700,000 autistic adults and children in the UK. The difference in the US is that in the US, adults alone is 5,437,988 people. Adults in the US with autism spectrum disorder or autism spectrum condition, with a low level percentage of 1.97% in Louisiana to a high percentage of 2.42% in Massachusetts. And that's from the Centre for Disease Control and Protection, which I will link in the video description down below. Next is the thoughts of the Royal College of Psychiatrists here in the UK. Again, all links will be down below in the video description for you to read. The autism ratio between men and women has narrowed from 9:1 to 2:1. Now, autism is being diagnosed more. It's something to be celebrated. People who have been overlooked or overshadowed or misdiagnosed in the past are now rightly getting correctly treated and screened and diagnosed as autistic. This is due to more acceptance and self-understanding and connecting to the neurodivergent community. This is also down to more services and clinicians and more training on the diagnostic threshold. So that is the statement from the Royal College of Psychiatrists here in the UK. And from Mental Health Today, here in the UK, they say, is autism overdiagnosed? In the UK currently, no autism is actually fewer diagnosed than expected, and is being under-recognised and undervalued. This is due to the demand of diagnostic assessments and diagnostic services often exceeding the capacity of local services, leading to lengthy waits for a diagnosis. A wide range of evidence is used, including a history of symptoms observed in the individual within different settings such as schools, psychology, assessment, a school environment, home environment, and of the evidence being presented. And obviously sometimes the diagnosis can be biased or have diagnostic confusion. So that's what Mental Health Today say. Also, the reason autism is more diagnosed is because there is more awareness and information out there, and a lot of autistic people, such as myself, share my experience as being an autistic woman. Maybe people should educate themselves and listen to actual autistic people's experiences before saying it is overdiagnosed. Here in the UK currently, it takes 3+ years to get an autism assessment. So I would be very careful and not say at all that autism is being overdiagnosed, because clearly it is not being overdiagnosed. Females such as myself have had to mask our struggles and often are under-ignored or not believed that we are on the autistic spectrum. We need to be careful with labelling or even putting a label on people to self-diagnose people, as we are not medical professionals. It can be really dangerous to put a person and a label on a person. Autism still seems to be a way of targeting people and to make people feel less than, and it needs to stop. I struggle with my autism every day. I face daily challenges. I hope that this video helps you to better understand about what autism actually is. So I just wanted to talk about this from a autistic perspective, and I will read through the traits that I have up here on my phone. So I'm just going to go back into the traits here. So, being autistic. Autism is a spectrum condition that affects how people act in different ways. Social communication. Autistic people have difficulties with interpreting both verbal and non-verbal language, like gestures or tone of voice. Some autistic people are unable to speak or have limited speech, while other autistic people have very good language skills but struggle to understand sarcasm or tone of voice. Other challenges can include taking things literally and not understanding abstract concepts, needing extra time to process information or answer questions, repeating what others say to them. Social interaction. Autistic people often have difficulty reading other people, recognizing or understanding feelings and intentions, expressing their own emotions. This can make it hard to navigate the social world. We may appear to be insensitive, seeking out time alone and overloaded, not seek comfort from other people, appear to behave strangely in a way to be that is socially inappropriate, find it hard to form friendships. Repetitive and restrictive behaviour. With its unwritten rules, the world can seem a very unpredictable and confusing place to autistic people. This is why they often prefer to have routines. They know what is going to happen. They may want to travel the same way to and from work or school, wear the same clothes, and exactly have the same food for breakfast. Autistic people may also repeat movements such as hand flapping, rocking, or the repetitive use of an object such as twirling a pen or opening and closing a door. Autistic people often engage in these behaviours to help calm themselves when they are stressed or anxious, but many autistic people do it because they find it enjoyable. Changes to routine can be very distressing for autistic people and make them very anxious. It could be having to adjust to big events, such as Christmas, changing school, facing uncertainty at work, or something that can trigger their anxiety. Over or under sensitivity to light, sound, touch, or taste. Autistic people may experience over or under sensitivity to sounds, touch, taste, smells, lights, colours, temperatures, or pain. For example, they might find certain background sounds like music in a restaurant, which other people may ignore or block out, unbearably loud or distracting. This can cause anxiety or even physical pain. Many autistic people prefer not to hug due to discomfort, which can be misinterpreted as being cold or aloof. Many autistic people avoid everyday situations because of their sensitivity issues. Highly focused interests or hobbies. Many autistic people have intense or highly focused interests, often from a fairly young age. These can change over time and be lifelong. Autistic people can become experts in their special interests and often like to share knowledge. A stereotypical example is that trains is one of many. Greta Thunberg's interest, for example, is protecting the environment. Like all autistic people, people gain huge amounts of pleasure from pursuing their interests. It seems fundamental to their well-being and mental happiness. Being highly focused helps many autistic people do well academically and within the workplace. but they can become so engrossed in particular topics or activities they may neglect other aspects of their lives. Extreme anxiety. Anxiety is really difficult for many autistic adults, particularly in social situations or when facing change. It can affect a person psychologically and physically and impact the quality of life for autistic people and their families. It is very important that autistic people learn to recognise their triggers and find coping mechanisms to help reduce their anxiety. However, many autistic people have recognising and regulating their emotions. 1/3 of autistic people have serious mental health issues, and too many autistic people are currently being failed by the mental health services. Meltdowns and shutdowns. When everything becomes too much for an autistic person, they can go into meltdown or shutdown. These are very intense and exhausting. A meltdown can happen when someone becomes completely overwhelmed by their current situation and temporarily loses behavioural control. This loss of control can be verbal, e.g. shouting, screaming, crying, physical as in kicking, lashing out, biting, or both. Meltdowns are often mistaken for temper tantrums, and parents often experience hurtful comments and judgmental stares from less understanding members of the general public. A shutdown can appear less intense, but however can be equally debilitating. Shutdowns are also a response to being overwhelmed or being more passive, switching off. One autistic person described having a meltdown is just being frustrated, not being able to figure out how to react to a situation or not want to react at all. So basically that's a bite-sized snap of what autism is. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!